Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Mortal Kombat 2, starring Carl Urban, Adeline Rudolph, Jessica McNamee, Tati Gabriel, Makad Brooks, Ludi Loon, Josh Lawson, and Tadanobu Asano, forgive me if I said that wrong, directed by Simon McQuoid. Now, before I get into this, welcome back to Mortal Kombat. And the reason I was a little late for this one was because I had fresh carpet coming over the weekend of the movie coming out. And here I am a week and a half later. But, let's just get into this movie. As a little girl, Katana watches the battle of the king of Adenia, aka her father, versus the villain of the movie Shao Kahn at a very young age when her father gets brutally murdered by Shao Kahn, which seems to give the kids nightmares, but handled it rather like a mature person, while Shao Kahn says to her he shouldn't have let you seen this, and she keeps her headband and becomes Shao Kahn's daughter now, and this villain is fucking menacing, and I like how good how like and I like a good menacing villain in a movie as he holds her mother Queen Sindel captive until she kneels to him as a king, and Katana as an adult played by Adeline Rudolph trains with Jade played by Tati Gabrielle, and the choreography is well done in this scene as well as throughout the movie, and the relationship between Katana and Jade was pretty good. And I failed to bring this up. Welcome back to Mortal Kombat because I did this series back in 2021. So let's just continue with this review. Katana and Jade see Shao Kahn and Queen Sindel as Mortal Kombat is upon them, and some resistance fighters think about hiring a champion like legendary action stuntman Johnny Cage, played by Carl Urban, who is the perfect casting choice as he's the best performance in this whole movie, in my opinion. And gets approached by Sonya Blade, returned by Jessica McNamee, and Lord Raiden, played by Johnny back to Mortal Kombat and meets Jax Briggs, Cole Young, who was in the last movie, and Liu Kang. And Johnny learns people will get murdered, and these characters are returning from the previous movies. And I like these characters more than ever before, except for Cole, even though he's a background character. And this plot is dense. Like, I had a hard time learning who is who at this point. Johnny refuses to join Mortal Kombat, and Sonya tries to make him join, but he still declines and goes back to his world while Katana and Jade, along with a snitch, find Kano, returned by Josh Lawson from the first movie, and resurrect him as he acts like a smartass. And that's how I like this character, while Johnny acts like an asshole to a fan of his, because the fan talks about a reboot of his movies, Citizen Cage, and the tournament Mortal Kombat begins with Sonya goes on a fight with Johnny as Johnny. Well, Sonya gets fights off against the Queen, while Johnny fights off and gets abducted by Mortal Kombat and he fights Katana and she beats his ass, and the action was very good, and I recommend if you're a Mortal Kombat fan to check this one out in IMAX, as you'll feel people getting beaten up versus killed on the biggest screen possible. A little late for that, but see it on the biggest screen possible, seriously. After Johnny gets his ass kicked by Katana, he falls down but doesn't die after Shao Kahn says, "Finish him!" Meanwhile, Sonya fights Queen Sindel, and that fight was fucking brutal as knives come from the ground until eventually Sonya kills Queen Sindel with a knife to the head. And as far as good versus evil goes in the tournament, both sides are even, and Johnny happens to be there while Kano annoys the living shit out of the snitch about his laser eye, and Kano gets it and tests it out, which was actually funny to me. And Lord Raiden chats with Johnny about perspective while feeding some birds, and the shots are fantastic in this whole movie. As director Simon McQuoy does a fantastic job with filming the movie, Katana visits the good side, and Johnny learns she was with the good guys the whole time and tells one of the fighters to not kill Jade, as she's like a sister to her. While Liu Kang's brother Kung Lao beats up on the good guys and Lord cuts Lord Raiden's throat with no gore and gives Shao Kahn's power of immortality as we get Cole fighting Shao Kahn with his head getting smashed with gore. And good riddance because he was a useless character in this one, whereas he was the main character in the whole movie in the first one, in the 2021 one. But he didn't even. But he's not even from the game, so what the hell do I know? Jax fights Jade and makes it an even fight. What the gore was absolutely necessary, as it was the case in the video game, so it made sense. Liu Kang fights Kang Lao with his weapon of choice, which happens to be his hat, and which has knives. And eventually, Kang cuts Kung Lao with his hat, as that was, like I said, was his weapon of choice. And that fight was pretty cool. And after Liu Kang's win, Lord Raiden asks for Liu Kang, and they learn that they lost Cole after being the main character in the last movie, which nobody gave a shit about. And Shao Kahn wants the power of Scorpion, and who will show up later in this movie, as well as was in the last movie. And this is more entertaining than the last movie, in my opinion, as well as the originals. Johnny, Sonya, Jax, and Liu Kang visit some creatures led by Baraka, and Liu Kang challenges Baraka and declines until Johnny insults Baraka and wants to fight Baraka, and they do, and at first gets his ass handed to him until he wears his signature sunglasses and says his badass line, "It's showtime," and does win the fight by punching Baraka in the nuts, and for a trade for his help to get the green powered thing and kills off the guards. And Johnny gets Baraka to and his clan's respect, while Katana is taken by Shao Kahn by Jade, to Shao Kahn by Jade, excuse me, and threatens to kill her mother. And this is what I mean by how much of a he is a very good menace. The heroes look for the green power, and Liu Kang finds it and fights Shao Kahn for it and can't get it out until Jax comes in and tries to get it out, as well as Sonya and Johnny getting in the fight, as Sonya and Liu Kang are knocked out, and the snitch gets it before Johnny does, and Jax gets killed until Kano comes in and kills off the guards, and Kano talks terms with Johnny as Jade ties up Katana in chains, while Johnny and Kano visit Lord Raiden and decide to trust Kano, and they get the power back for Lord Raiden. And at this point, I'm thinking this is the best Mortal Kombat movie yet to date, as this movie rocks. Johnny and Kano visit Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, returned by Hiroyuki Sanada, and Kano brings up Sub-Zero, who was in the last movie, and his world turns into hell, and he becomes the Scorpion, while the bad guys plan on killing Lord Raiden, while nobody is guarding him, and Scorpion fights Bihan with Kano, while Kano and Johnny join in against the Shadow, as they get the green power and they have it and defeat Baihan, as well as the Shadow, while Sonya fights Shao Kahn and Liu Kang joining Sonya in the fight, and Liu Kang getting killed while Kano almost dies but makes it alive. And this is a fun time at the movies. I mean, seriously, folks. Sonya lets Kitana free from the chains and fights Shao Kahn for the throne, while Johnny almost gets killed by the Shadow and makes it to land and cuts the Shadow in half, and Baihan almost uses the green power until Jade comes in and she, with Kano, uses his power to kill Bi-Han, and while Johnny grabs the signature sunglasses, suddenly has powers to defeat Bi-Han, and Katana kills Shao Kahn, and who almost killed Katana, but she toughens it up as it resurrects Lord Raiden, while Katana gets her throne back and tells everyone not kneel, and they call Queen Katana, or chant, excuse me. And Johnny tells the story to Baraka and his creatures of how Johnny Cage saved the world, with the other heroes telling the whole story of what ended up happening. And Kano joins the team with Lord Raiden and Sonya, as well as some others, for example, Kitana, Jade, and others, and get ready for the fight of their lives. And the climax was awesome. But was this movie better than the original, as well as the 2021 Mortal Kombat? Let's talk about it in a rating. I'll give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. More entertaining than the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie and better than the original two movies, with some very good action, and Carl Urban as Johnny Cage is the best performance and the casting choice in this entire movie. And Shao Kahn is a menacing fucking villain, and I always enjoy a menacing villain despite the plot was a little dense. But in my opinion, this may be the best Mortal Kombat movie yet to date. The choreography was well done throughout the movie, and the relationship between Kitana and Jade was pretty good, as I like the characters better here than ever before. And I recommend, if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, to check this out in not only IMAX but the biggest screen possible, as you'll feel people getting beaten up versus killed on the biggest screen possible. And the shots are fantastic in this whole movie, as director Simon McQuoid does a fantastic job with filming the movie. The gore was necessary, as it made sense because it was in the video games with some spectacular fight sequences, and this may be a very entertaining this and made this a very entertaining movie, and it is a recommendation for the movie. And the fight sequences were pretty cool, and it kept me entertained for the full 2 hour and 56 minutes. And I was really surprised how much I liked the 2021 movie as well as this movie. And it was better than the first reboot of the reboot Mortal Kombat thus far. So I'd like to thank you guys for coming back with me to the Mortal Kombat retrospective. And until we ever get another movie, finish him!